Sorry about that, I hit the wrong button here. It has the infamous McCulloch Super Pro 81. They had the Super Pro 80 before. Then we got had the 81, and they had the 800 and 805 and the 850s, etc. That pile of parts there is what's left of a ProMac 1010 I actually bought off of eBay. It was a great running saw, and I was cutting a chunk of hickory, and the bottom part of the skirt on the piston wedged between what was left of the piston, which was most of it, and the cylinder wall, and locked the darn thing up. Crazy. This is the bagger for my Toro push mower. It's right here, and that's the muffler for the ProMac 1000 or Partner P100 chainsaw, and I have a 36-inch bar for that, which is in all the shadow here, sticking out right there and leading all the way up underneath, and it is almost touching the wall back there. And that's the chain. You can barely see it, and this is not a good lighting phone, but that's the chain. It's kind of hard to focus. Again, this is cell phone video. And for those of you that didn't know, this is an Echo made weed eater for John Deere. Let's see if I can get it to focus a little better here. I apologize. My wiggling probably doesn't help any. There it goes. There is a John Deere 172, but this is basically the Echo HC100 hedge trimmer. And I put this soft, flexible, plasticky rubber bar cover on it to protect the edge. This thing runs good. It needs a serious carburetor cleaning because you can't see the shiny area, but there's a black air filter right here. That's the carburetor, and it's just covered in like grease and gunk and crap. And the camera on this phone is actually making it worse than it is as far as it looks. But yeah, that 81 runs good. You can see it's leaking bar oil there. That has a 28-inch bar on it. These two, I believe they're 16-inch bars, maybe 20 on the two of them, the 55 and that. Probably a 20-inch bar on the, maybe 24 on the steel. That is a beast of a saw. Pretty impressive. Like, I think they're like 87 cc's, 051 and 056. They're pretty much the same size. My dad always thought the 051 was actually bigger than the 056, but I have to check out the specs on that again. But they're in the upper 80s as far as cc's. And that right there, that's a pretty large piston there for those of you that don't know. That's got a massive crank in them. That's a 56 millimeter piston. And besides having my 55 in the shop, I get a PowerMac 340 and my own personal ProMac 700 is exactly the same as this. Looks just as clean. Actually, it's cleaner as far as dirt, but paint wise is just as good as this one practically. Actually, the sticker right here is not worn off like that, but it might be coming up a little on the corners or something. I got a ton of these bar covers. So anyway, I thought I'd give you a little mini tour of some of my stuff. There's a leaf blower. I got this actually down in New Mexico when I lived down in Albuquerque, I believe in 2006. So the second one I got, the first one was a dud, but this one, I apologize, but I haven't done any servicing to this except for give it some gas. So when I pulled the rewind and starter rope, that doesn't want to go in as well as it should. I haven't even changed the spark plug or the air filter in that, and it just keeps running. And so it's about 10 years old, and it does a pretty good job of leaf blowing. Got the bagger for it right down there underneath the Toro bagger. And then there's your weed eater, brand weed eater. I got that from the first load, me about 30 bucks. I need to put a primer bulb in that. Maybe that'll run and clean it up a little. Troy-Bilt needs a carburetor rebuild. I used that for about 2 years when I got it. 2009, 2010. And then in 2011, the beginning of the season, it gave me a hard time. And I was using that, actually, 2012, that gave me a hard time. 2011, I was using that at the Army depot, military thing that was defunct, and used that on that 26 acres that we mowed, which we used this push mower with, Toro. We had that Toro there, and John Deere 318 garden tractor with a 50-inch deck and a Simplicity Sunstar, which has a 20 horsepower opposed twin Kohler in it that had a 60-inch deck. And we mowed that 26 acres the first couple of times, believe it or not, with just a Simplicity Sunstar. And they have a high and low range hydrostat, high and low range gear ratio, like a 4-drive truck, and also a locking rear differential, just a lever you hit with the heel of your right boot and you locked it in at a dead stop, and then you would start moving forward again and it would be engaged. You didn't want to do that when you're moving, really. Especially if you're already spinning, you could tear up something in the rear end. Well, realistically, it shouldn't, but shouldn't do that. Emergency, you could, but not a good thing. Then the same Toro that was in the other room of the basement, the Ryobi is next after the Troy-Bilt, and same neighbor gave me that. I think at the same time. That's ran before. And the other one in the corner there, in the far corner, with the hoop handle, not the curved C handle, that's on the Ryobi. That's one of those MTD yard machines I bought for like 80 bucks. I've upgraded to 2 Echoes. One my dad actually found. Got a brush cutter blade on it, 88 tooth Echo brush cutter blade on it the last couple of summers. It's built from like 1991 at the newest, and we use that at the Army depot along with that red Troy-Bilt. It's a straight shaft 21.2 cc weed eater engine in that. The Troy-Bilt's 27, and the two back there are 31 cc's, but I'll tell you what, the 21.2 cc Echo is probably just as powerful, considering the fact that it's straight shaft. It's pretty darn impressive when you can cut through a 3-inch tree with a 88 tooth 10-inch saw blade, or I believe they are, and double string. It had similar to these, the Echo branded one that they had, and I went to the Speed Feed spool. They got 2 different sizes. The bigger one is the one I like. That's the one that would fit on that. And I think it's the Speed Feed 375, I think is what they call it. And then the Speed Feed 400, believe it or not, I think is the smaller one, the smaller diameter. And I find myself, because when I weed eat, I cut short anyway, kind of scalp it, unfortunately. Sometimes I do it on purpose for different reasons, and I end up finding I scalp a little much with the smaller one, so I went with the bigger one. Never had that issue of these, but these actually spin the opposite direction of the Echoes. These spin clockwise, being that they're your box store, Lowe's, Home Depot, Walmart. You can get these at Walmart even, especially the weed eater and the Ryobi and the other one. The Troy-Bilt you see more in the Lowe's and Home Depot. And so yeah, I just thought I'd let you guys see what I have got here, and there's a 60 or 62 cc ProMax 60. ProMax 55 is actually 57.4, I believe, and the 1010, what's left of it, that is 54.3 cc's. Super Pro 81, I think, are about 82. And then again with the Echo hedge trimmer, the HC 1500, which is one of the early gens of those, made for John Deere. The John Deere badged it to 172. That's again the 21.2cc engine. And then I also, besides that PowerMac 340, which is 34.4 cc's, that's a great little saw. I don't have it here, it's in my garage. Again, we're in my basement. Along with my own personal ProMax 700, which, again, this is my father's ProMax 700 and his 55 down here. Right there. I have my own 55, that's in the shop. Just waiting for the guy to get that done. He hasn't done anything with that in quite a while. And then hopefully I'm going to find some parts to get this ProMac 1000. I need a piston and a cylinder for that. And get that basically pieced back together. That thing will really cut some wood with a 36-inch bar. It's not the Super Pro 125, but it's every bit as good as the Super Pro 81. They rev up good and everything. And then I also got the Echo brand PAS 266 just last year. In June, I bought that. I got the straight shaft weed eater head. I got the pole saw, the 3-foot extension for the pole saw, and I got the brush cutter bottom to go on that. And I'll tell you what, that's pretty impressive when you got an Oregon LGX chain on a little 12-inch bar and you cut through a limb. I just did one that was just as big as the limb on a friend's property in a town about 15 miles west of me in Galena, Illinois, which is home of General Grant and about 9 other generals during the Civil War for the North. So, yeah, guys, I'm going to end the video here. Just letting you know what I got. I'm going to get a bunch of wheel horse lawn tractors. I got 4 of them, 2 10 horsepowers and 2 8 horsepowers. One of them is hydrostat, actually. That's a 10 horsepower Kohler. And then I got the wheel horse Raider 10. That was a Charger 10. The Raider 10 is Tecumseh 10 horsepower, and that's a high and low range, so it's got 6 forwards and 2 reverses because it's got 3 speeds in each range. And the other 2 8 horsepower ones are 3 forwards and 1 reverse. And the hydrostat's just one range. Got a 42-inch snowplow for that. I got 2 42-inch mower decks. One is 8 horsepower B80 wheel horse. You gotta realize all these were made in like 1975, and that has 8 horsepower Kohler. That is